copy.
Good.
You guys must be
Everything else still right now, we're just showing that.
Give me a gavel.
Oh, did you? I had to look where I was supposed to sit. I knew you changed things. I was afraid I was in the back row somewhere. To see the gritty. Shut the door.
How do we do this?
It's on the back. It's on the back.
Yeah, I would say.
Being down low.
Okay, good.
You know what?
Don't went back down.
You're town councilman, you can sit over there, you want to sit, you can take the floor.
I mean, it's okay. We have an
Or
officer
sit
out there,
on the
right?
front row, okay.
We have an officer. If it gets loud, we close
Front row,
it.
just sit on the front row.
How are you, sir? Hey, Fabricio. Oh, never mind. I had,
So he's getting.
Got a few more
We already
emails.
had it set to start at 6. So I'm going to slide it. So they're you're saying, okay.
the last email from her was, last week it was, well, let me try it.
Okay.
Something that said, oh, maybe I'll put together a 2-pager that the town can sign. And I was like, okay, send it to me. And I haven't. Well,
I can see all the without him
Okay, that's fine.
it's something about the Motorola taking watch that's causing problems.
We already have it set to start at 6 o'clock.
I feel your pain, I promise.
So did we start?
Here at sound, we have a slide up.
Okay,
They are hearing sound.
okay.
Sound is on. Yeah, they're not that angry.
So we're just ready to go then.
My light is up, sound is on. We could do it.
So we're ready to go.
I say we could do an invitation to bid. Then you're getting away from the Motorola ecosystem.
Well, you can use mine. Clean the two of us here out of here, but I know Chris had to print this off. I couldn't print this. I printed that the mayor's thing off. I like that. Yeah, it's nice.
Just, what's this?
Okay.
Okay, Mayor, if we're ready, I'll get us on Facebook Live, and then we'll start our meeting.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Mayor, we're ready to start our meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Certainly want to welcome everyone to this very special council meeting. We're actually having it in the council chambers. Good to see everyone in person. And of course, our council date is Tuesday, July 6th, starting at 6 o'clock for a change. It's a lot of new things, and just really excited about the evening. So Susan, if you would, when you're ready, please call the roll.
All right, Councilmember Lyles.
Here.
Councilmember Mullins. Here. Councilmember Stovall.
Here.
Vice Mayor McCarty.
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here. Thank you. As we often mention here in the town of Benton, we use the moment of silence so that everyone can pray as they see fit. And I hope you will pray. I plan to. And if you use that time for prayer, I would ask you to keep this country, this community, and certainly this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers this evening. After we have a moment of prayer, while we're standing, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilmember Lyles is in charge of that. Who's going to do the honors?
Although I was barely making it through the door on time, I was still able to find someone, and our special guest, Natalie Mullins, has agreed to do the pledge for us.
Well, how nice. All right. So, Natalie, after a few moments of silent prayer, if you would lead us in that Pledge of Allegiance, we would appreciate it. So, folks, if you would stand for those two items, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So as I say, it's a special night, our first night back in council chambers. Some of us even celebrated by wearing bow ties. Took a little extra time for some of us to get dressed, but mine's already tied, so you guys look sharp. So our next item is upcoming community events, and our vice mayor usually handles that. Got
Yes.
anything?
Yes, I sure do. We'll have a whole page full here.
You bet.
July the 10th, the Chamber presents Mingle at the Market from 7 to 10. The band is $5 shake. The food truck is Solo Tots and a beverage garden. Also on July the 10th, a Hero Hope-driven car show event is at the Vinton War Memorial from 5 until 9. And for more information, you can go to hopedriven@yahoo.com. Or you can always call, and I'm sure Chastity will let you know more information on that.
Yeah.
July the 22nd at the War Memorial, it's National Hammock Day. Now, this sounds fun. It says, bring your freestanding hammock or a comfy chair and enjoy our front lawn from 5:30 to 8. Music by DJ Flex Band, food trucks, and Deb's Lemonade's gonna be there. So that's going to be a fun night. July the 24th, the Chamber presents Mingle at the Market from 7 to 10. It's 5 Shades of Grey band, food trucks, and a beverage garden. And then August the 2nd at the Vinton Farmers Market, they present the Burgers and Boot Camp from 6 to 7, and that's a free event. August the 3rd at the Charles R. Hill Community Center, it will be National Night Out, and that is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and there's more information to come on that. So that's what we have upcoming. We have had some awesome events up to this point. If you didn't get to see us on Facebook, hopefully you got to get out and got the schedule to get out and enjoy all of those events, and special thanks to Chastity and her group for helping organize all of the events. We definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. And you're right, we've had some great events so far. Next item is a request to postpone or change the order of the agenda. Council, any requests this evening? If not, we will continue with the existing agenda.
Mayor Gross, if I may,
Yes.
we had just a couple additional announcements on the events, if you wouldn't mind. Just going to have Chastity come up for a moment just to share a few additional details, if you don't mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. No, that's my fault. They told me about that, and I failed to do it.
Glad that we're in person. Is this not fun?
It's right there. Yeah, and you can just stand there at the mic and we'll.
Okay. All right, I'm going to try to use this clicker. So I'm like a talker and a mover, but thank you guys for letting me come here tonight and speak. And
Sure.
I just kind of want to give y'all an overview of what's going on since the activities have been able to increase some, I guess you'd say. So let's see. Once they get it up. Here we
You're
go.
good.
So this is kind of an overview of community programs all in one. So our farmers market, if y'all don't know, is open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to 1. The market this past Saturday we had was riding to the market, and we had Deb's Lemonade out. We had our local honey out, which he is doing amazing. His name is Mark, and he's a great guy to work with. And then we had our egg lady is what we call her, but it's Emporium Eggs. So y'all should come down and check out the market. Oh, sorry. Come down and check out the market because the vendors are increasing. So in the foot traffic, I can't even explain to you how different it is from 3 years ago. So we can see the downtown traffic on Saturdays morning increasing a lot. On Mondays, we've been able to bring back the music jam. Just on the first and second Mondays from 3 to 5:30, I am happy to announce that the community center is renting so much that this is all we could give them. So if you do get questions, that is the only reason why we actually have paid rentals in there. So this is what we came up with. They're happy. Bruce Mayer's happy to drop his bass guitar off every Monday morning.
All right.
Next, we have senior line dancing, which is on Tuesdays. And Shelly is working it over there, let me tell you. So she has a class at 10, a class at 11, a class at 12:30, one at 4, and one at 6. So they're beginner, and then they are, I keep stepping away. I'm sorry, Scott. So anyway, on line dancing, please come out. It's beginner and advanced. And then we've been able to add back, as of like 2 weeks ago, the senior Tai Chi and cards. So Thursday morning from 9 to 9:45 is Tai Chi, and from 10 to 1:30 is cards. They bring a brown bag lunch since we aren't able to do potlucks anymore, but they're all okay with that. I wish y'all could come in there. That day I slid in there about 1 o'clock, and prior to, they had 27 people playing cards.
Wow.
So it's men and women. Line dancing, sorry, I should have told y'all, she's at 57 in one class, she's at 42 in another class, and the rest of them float in between. So I mean, on Tuesdays, the parking lot is jamming. Next, I just wanted y'all to be able to see this. So last year we were able to buy all the barricades and everything that we needed to secure for any big event that we would have, including the Christmas parade. So everything has been housed in the basement of the War Memorial. So we've been able to mark that so it won't get mixed up with public works stuff or anything like that. So I appreciate y'all letting us be able to buy this stuff and keep it. It is, I can't even explain to you how easy it was for July 4th to just walk to the basement, or know that if one day we can get a trailer and just drop it going down the street, like everything behind it. So it was great. The War Memorial. So if y'all seen anything on social media, that is Dana, Amanda, and myself. We're fully vaccinated and we're ready to party. So I thought that was a good way to show it. And then right beside us was just from the other night, the picture beside us from the other night, the crowd from July 4th, and it still gives me cold chills from this. I'm in awe of that night. Here's some more pictures right here, and I'm obsessed. Anybody knows with my truck, I think it's awesome. So what other better way to market this town? And then lastly, and I love the fact that Scott's here because I didn't plan this one at all. So I've probably bugged him forever, and he helped me so much on this map. So we have a new downtown map, which we've had it folded. There's a trifold up here in the information desk, but we're gonna get more printed that's actually like a glossy, nicer paper. So this is the part of the trifold, and then it has your Eat, Shop, Play, and we have room where we can add more businesses and more things that come into town. And then here is the inside of it. So this is the whole entire map, I mean, of all of Vinton, plus Scott had made the downtown bigger so we could emphasize on all the different things that we have going on in downtown. And then you have your annual events, which I know y'all can't really see right there. And those are chamber events, town events, anything like that. So I thank you very much for letting me get up here and talk. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I am so happy that we can have events. I can't even explain it to you. So I'm sure y'all could tell by Facebook, everything was amazing. So thank y'all for the support this past weekend.
All right. Thank you, Chastity. Yeah, the events this summer have been great. I'm looking forward to the rest of the summer. It's great. I was going to save it for a little bit later in my comments, but since you mentioned the dancing, I received a really nice letter from one of the participants, Mrs. Bestpitch, and she was just really excited that all the dancers were able to get together and everything. So it's a really great activity for a lot of citizens actually throughout the valley attend that. So thank you for that. So is that all the events for today? All right. I heard about a backyard barbecue next week. No, I don't guess we better include that. No. All right. We'll move on to the consent agenda. I think we'd already covered the request for postponement. I didn't hear any, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. Tonight, it has the minutes for the regular meetings of May 18th, June 1st, and June 15th. Council, are there any adjustments, any additions to the consent agenda? If not, we'll entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
A second.
We have a motion by the Vice Mayor, second by Councilmember Lyles. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, now to my favorite part of the meeting, our awards and presentations. And I understand Chief Drummond has got some awards for tonight.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. Really good to be back. Long hiatus. Before I go into the Certificate of Excellence, I'd like to welcome Marshal Tom Foster here. As you know, we served under his leadership for over 3 years, and once you wear the Vinton uniform, you're always considered Vinton, especially a man that serves as our chief. So please, Marshal Foster.
Yeah, the chief said I could commandeer the microphone for a couple seconds.
All right.
And it was 4.5 years. It just seemed to
Wow. Well, welcome, Marshal Foster.
Thank you very much. And I just want to tell you, I wanted to bring something to your attention. As you know, we've been going through all this COVID stuff, and we've been in this, no meetings, and I wanted to be here tonight because it's your first in-person session. And things are no different over at the POF building. Everybody's been working, teleworking and away, and we decided, the court family, as they call it over there, to have a welcome back cookout on the parking garage at the POF Federal Building. Oh. And they were talking about how could we figure out the way to do something at lunchtime to maybe have the clerks of court and the judges and the probation parole officers and the marshals service people come out and have a quick cookout. And I said, you know what, I think I have an idea on that. And so I called Chief Drummond and said, the Mobile Community Services Unit, as we called it, we've got with the grill. We have a lot of experience in cooking hot dogs quickly and in high capacity. And so I called Chief Drummond, and as always, he said, we'll be there. And so on behalf of the Marshal Service and the clerks of courts, I wanted to commend Chief Drummond and Lieutenant Austin and Sergeant Mike Bailey, who came over, and it gave me an opportunity to man the grill one final time, over there. But I just want to tell you what an amazing event it was. Everybody, because they've been gone, for a year, and most of those people in telecommuted, people hadn't seen each other, and it was a great opportunity for a social event there for a welcome back. And it was just an amazing time, and it was a great way to showcase Vinton once again for the folks over there. And but they did a great job, and as always, it was just to pick up the phone and And the last thing I want to say is about the July 4th celebration, and something that was kind of special that I thought you might want to know about. I'd been earlier in the day at a naturalization ceremony at Monticello, and was trying to get done so we could get back and go to the fireworks demonstration here. And my niece met a gentleman from Great Britain, and their relationship's kind of been on hold a little bit as COVID and not being able to travel. But he managed to sneak in, and they got married a few months back, and they bought a house just outside of Vinton. And but anyway, he was joking, saying that if there's any way we could sneak him into the naturalization ceremony, he'd appreciate it because he wanted to hurry that process up. But I told him I couldn't do that, but I could do something almost as good, and that was take him to his very first Independence Day celebration, and we were going to do that on the lawn of the War Memorial here in the town of Vinton. And so his been to the United States just a few times, but he got to spend his first 4th of July here in the town of Vinton and see what I think was one of the most incredible fireworks displays that I've seen, and it was just an amazing night, and I wanted to share that with you. What a special night it was for my family, and what a special night it was for him. My niece couldn't be there because she's a 911 dispatcher, and so she was working. So we were entertaining him for the evening, and but it was just wonderful. And I want to tell you once again, thank you for everything. Thank you, Chief, and your team for helping us out for our welcome back ceremony on June the 23rd. And I want to say thank you to the town for everything that you've done for me. And it was just a real honor to be a part of the celebration. And Vinton is just, I tell you, Vinton is just making everything happen. And it's so great. And I want to say thank you for all that you all do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good seeing you.
That's right.
Thank you, Marshall.
Hey, real fast, that picnic cookout, thing that we did. That was a great idea to welcome back. And I maybe misunderstood, because when I got here, I went around back because I thought Pete was doing the same thing for us today.
Yeah, no, you misunderstood.
See what happens when you leave?
Well, Chief Foster, Marshal Foster, thank you for that report and the very kind words. And want you to know you're always welcome here in Vinton Town Council. We appreciated your time here, and I'm glad that Chief was able to help out there. That represents Vinton well. So, Chief, thank you for that. That's
Yes, sir.
The comments were amazing. Everyone loved it, and it was just such a great thing. So I just wanted to publicly say in front of council, commend the chief and the police department.
great.
Awesome.
And I was planning on staying for the whole meeting, but today, when I told you the mayor was coming over, it's my son's birthday today. So after the awards, I'm going to probably sneak out.
Oh, absolutely.
Logan's birthday.
Yes.
Absolutely. Good to have you with us. Come back in.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And if you remember, Marshal Foster, then chief, was the pioneer of the community trailer. He had applied for a very competitive grant to secure that. So how can you say no to that? It was our pleasure to do so. And next I will call Sergeant Mike Caldwell up here, along with Officer Taylor Carter. Is there a particular place you like me?
No, as long as you stay near that
Okay.
front.
So before I read these citations, you'll see that they were both wearing the same uniform, dark navy blue. However, Roanoke County and Town of Vinton, what this will capture is the resiliency and the ability for two jurisdictions to work in unison and communicate effectively to the overall goal of law enforcement, which is to better our lives. Whether that's in our jurisdiction, outside of our jurisdiction, safety has no bounds, and we work together when the time comes. The value of human life is not calculated by the personal achievements or what the position you hold in society. Despite varying moral belief systems, we can attribute that our lives are extraordinarily valuable, a glorious gift from our Creator, best served by noble actions. In our profession, the value of human life is at the heart of every law enforcement professional. Over the course of our lives, we hear that serving for a cause greater than oneself is the key to fulfilling life. And I agree with that sentiment. The achievable aspects of fulfillment in our personal lives are attributed to how we choose to serve others. The key aspect is to do it with sincerity and with no expectation or reciprocity. Often in our profession, we are challenged with circumstances where the very person we engage with is in critical need, and in this case, their life may depend on it. On June 13, 2021, officers of both the Vinton Police Department and Roanoke County Police Department responded to a distress call for service on what was determined to be a suicide in progress. Information was disseminated to the responding officers that a subject wanted to end his own life. The officers' actions leading up to the distress call were critical and would ultimately define the successful nature of such a critical incident. Upon locating the person, officers witnessed what most could never process. The subject used a rope by way of hanging as the officers approached. Both officers, each from different jurisdictions, without hesitation, worked in unison and cohesively were able to lift the subject up, thus relieving the constrictive pressure of the rope while the other officer was able to untie the rope from the rafters. As formerly mentioned, our lives are best served when we use it to help others and do good in this world. Always seek to be a giver. It will be a reward beyond measure. On that date, Sergeant Mike Caldwell and Officer Taylor Carter's actions gave someone another chance at continuing their own life. Throughout our careers, we're left to wonder if the service we provide makes a difference in the community we serve and the citizens we come in close contact with. On June 13, 2021, both Sergeant Michael Caldwell and Officer Taylor Carter can rest assured that their actions did just that. Congratulations to Sergeant Mike Caldwell and Officer Taylor Carter. That is the textbook definition of heroism at its finest, and these are these two fine officers right here. So not only did we capture the service, the excellence, however, you have to dig for this information. They don't talk about it. It's more of it's not a routine, of course, affecting someone's life, but they're in the practice of humility as well. So I commend you for that as well. If we don't search for this information, we might not never know about it. And that's something admirable to see from an individual, where they don't seek attention from something that they do. And that is incredible. Thank you guys for the service that you provide to our community.
Wow. Chief, I'd like to just
Come on up here, guys.
just briefly add a few words. Congratulations, first of all, and thank you very much for the service you provide, and what a great example of being involved with mankind, and what a great example for your profession. It's you kind of referred to it as far as making a difference in the community. Things like this is just beyond my ability to express my appreciation. But thank you folks so much, and I just hope you know how much we appreciate what you're doing and the service that you provide. And as council, I think I can speak for council, we'd love for you to come up so we can shake your hands, if you would, please.
Congratulations. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Congratulations, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sergeant Mike Caldwell would like to say a few words.
Okay, great.
And if you know Mike, he's got a lot of words.
Short. That night it was pouring down the rain, and I was the first one there, and then Officer Carter was there right, I think she pulled in right behind me, but she's a fairly new officer, and I'd just like to commend her for everything she done. Her training kicked in, and the teamwork, we got it to happen, and that's why she's here tonight. I approached the chief about it and wanted to recognize her, not as well as myself, so I just wanted to thank her.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for letting me share this incredible act. It was just short of amazing, of course. There's so much grave detail that goes into these incidences, and who knows what goes through these officers' minds. They are human beings after all, and the ability to overcome that and work together and to a successful conclusion is just incredible. It takes me back, and thank you for that. Yeah. And really quick, July 4th was amazing. It was amazing. Congratulations. Where'd she go?
She's not gone.
It was incredible. You don't take into context. Downtown was packed, everything on Washington, but you had people on Mountain View and all the neighborhoods because you have the patrolling officers, and the event was just professionally done. It made my job in law enforcement a lot easier, and I had a great time. It was great. Congratulations to you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Great comments, and you're right. It was an incredible evening.
Yes, sir.
What was that?
Thank you. Thank you, Marshall.
See you, Chief.
Good to see you.
Marshall.
Anytime.
Great to see you, Marshall.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was quite a presentation, so thank you, Chief, for that very much. Next section is citizen comments and petitions, and this is reserved for anyone that would like to make a comment that's not already listed on the agenda. And Susan, I'd like to just check if you did you get any comments in your office?
No, sir, no request.
Okay. Anyone else? No.
Here tonight?
All right. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to the town attorney. Jeremy, I like your tie, man. You're looking good.
Sir, thanks, sir.
I don't see anything listed, but I'm sure you'll help us out later tonight, right?
Sir.
Good to see you.
You as well.
And with that, we'll move on to the town manager. Mr. Peters, please.
have to get familiar again with how to run a meeting in person. Thank you, Mayor Gross and members of council. We have a couple of briefings this evening. The first being, I'll ask Ms. McMillan, the town's planner director, to come up, and she's got two presentations for us this evening.
Mr. Mayor, members of the Town Council. This briefing is on the staff application for the allocation of fiscal year 21 Virginia Stormwater Local Assistance Fund grant for a stream restoration project that will allow for the removal of pollutant. In this case, is for the sediment, in order to meet the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality Municipal Separate Stormwater Sewer System Total Maximum Daily Local Permit Requirement. I know it's a mouthful there. So having said that, we in May, you guys, since 2003, we had to meet the water quality under the Federal Water Quality Act. The town is considered as municipal separate storm sewer system, and we have to submit MS4 permit, and to meet the requirement of the Federal Act, trying to clean up the water that go into the stream, the storm drainage that goes into the stream and lakes. So in May of 2021, we contacted Wetlands Studies and Solution to help staff to identify different sites in the town that can not only to repair the stream, but also to meet the DEQ requirement to reduce the sediment into the waterways. We did look at, the first visit, we look at those 4 sites that I mentioned in the report: Tinker Creek Canoe Launch site, the Glade Creek Greenway Phase 2B, the Wolf Creek at Washington Avenue, Haggis property, Mansard Square, Wellside, and Woodland Place. And as I mentioned earlier, the grant application is due by July 30th, and then with the limited time and the fund that we have, the consultant basically said that we need to narrow it down to 2 sites. We went ahead, and then they met, we met again, and then they went to look at these 2 sites. Prior to them going to the site, we did notify the property owners that might be affected. There are pictures showing of the 2 sites. That is Mr. Haggis' property right off East Cleveland Avenue. This is behind where River Park Shopping Center, behind Dr. Law office there. And the drain is coming from Hardy Road going to on the waterways. What happened? Okay, so there are, that's the 2 more sites. The first one, and then there's 3 sites showing off the drainage issue there at Mr. Haggis. And then the second site that they look at is Woodland Place, right off Niagara Road there, Woodland Place. In fact, you can see they are losing their parking lot there. Yeah. And we have that, this site has been a problem for the last 25 years I've been here. So we look at that, and then if you look, that gentleman is about 6'5". Wow. And when we were in there, they were just like flabbergasted. They said, God, we never been to a site that looked like that. So they were very, they said, this is a really good project for this sediment removal. So if we are to do this project, basically we will exceed the DEQ TMDL allocation for the sediment. So if you look at the report, the estimated project is still, they're still doing all the analysis, doing the concept plan. So before the meeting, they give me an estimated project for for the Woodland Place, not for the Woodland Place, and that is the range between 425,000 to 535,000. It is a 50% grant program. So if the town is to receive the grant, we do have to match that project cost. So I'd be happy to answer any question that you have regarding staff proposal to submit the SLAF application.
Council, any questions, comments?
Is that that cost just for the Woodland Place or for both?
Just for the Woodland Place.
Okay.
And hopefully the next round, if this is successful, then we'll go to Mr. Huggins, and then we'll go to, different site that can, basically help the property owner and the town in meeting the DEQ, TMDL requirement, permit requirement.
Anita, am I correct in that this same grant application has been used by Roanoke County at Vineyard Park?
Correct.
And is currently being used by Roanoke County at Wolf Creek at
Correct.
Good Park?
Yes.
For string bank restoration?
Correct. Roanoke County has done Motley Creek behind Gus Mill there. They have done Vineyard Part 1, the Phase 1 and Phase 2, and they just finished Wolf Creek along the Wolf Creek Greenway there, right off the park there, where that section from Washington Avenue up to that Wolf Creek Greenway, along the Wolf Creek Greenway. And then Roanoke City, they received the grant 2 years ago, and they'll be doing Glade Creek Greenway. This is the same fund that we're looking at.
What will they do there? I mean, what is that going to look like when it's done? I mean,
good
it's
question.
That's pretty deep.
They will stabilize the area, and they will put some type of, they're gonna do some cutting and things like that. So I'll be happy to share that information once they are complete with the conceptual plan for this project.
They will
Yeah,
leave that
interesting.
slope back some and then armor it with larger stones so it won't continue to erode.
Big project.
Yeah, all this sediment, it goes to Glade Creek detention basin there. So basically, we're trying to reduce, and then eventually those come in and go to Tinker Creek Greenway, Tinker Creek, and it goes to Roanoke River. That's why one of the requirements of DEQ, how can you reduce those runoff into entering Tinker Creek and eventually Roanoke River.
Did that parking lot used to have some type of drainage there, and it just got dissolved away, or
Right.
a
Half
long
of that
time ago?
parking lot is gone. If you
Yeah.
Yes.
Sell that place at big old.
And if you look off Niagara Road, you go down to your right, you can see that.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary.
I've seen that. I had no idea it was that deep, though.
Yeah, me neither.
It's about at least 23 feet deep.
So whatever used to be there is not there anymore. Like,
Correct.
it's gone somewhere.
Yes,
Washed
sir.
away, yeah.
Now, will Roanoke County be involved in that, or we'll be?
This is just for the town. Each locality have their own allocation for, how much sediment you can dispose of.
Okay.
So this is just for the town.
Okay. Wow.
And in this particular case, a lot of the material that has been washed away or that you see exposed there is fill material that was placed there by a previous landowner. So the creek, you see the stone to the left, that's kind of the natural water course where it originally was. And it's eroded a lot of that fill material to the right that was used to make a parking lot. Probably 3 decades or more ago, 50 years ago potentially.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Wow.
If council approve for the staff to apply for this SLAF application, we will work on this.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. The second briefing is on staff application for the allocation of Virginia Department of Transportation Alternative Program Fund for Hardy Road Dillon Wood Crosswalk. Back in 2017, the town was awarded $183,000 Highway Safety Improvement Fund for the crosswalk. And if you see in December 2020, Virginia Department of Transportation informed staff that the project cost is about $410,000. And then when we requested to administer the project, and then they sent us an agreement, and then the project went up to $497,611, a shortfall of $315,000. So staff is looking for this transportation alternative fund to basically to cover that shortfall. And pre-application, now Virginia Department of Transportation grant application require pre-app what they call pre-application, and we did submit that. And then the full application is due by October 1st. TA application require 20% match, just like the Glade Creek Greenway Phase 2. It does require 20% match. At the same time, staff was informed by Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission that they do have a fund under the COVID relief fund. So we did submit that request too. And by this Thursday, we'll see whether the Transportation Technical Committee will make a recommendation to the Transportation Policy Organization, TPO. Mr. Stovall and Mr. Lyles are on that policy board. So hopefully, if TTC and TPO approve the additional request, then we don't have to submit. But we just want to be safe. You never know whether we'll be approved for funding or not for this additional fund. So this is just a briefing to let council know that we plan to submit that TA application, and then of course we'll be obligated with the 20% matching for that application. I'll be happy to answer any question that you may have.
Okay, thank you, Anita. Council, any questions or comments? No? Sounds good. Yeah, great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Anita.
Thank you, Anita.
Mayor Gross, the last briefing I have for you this evening is regarding a parking lot agreement with Vinton Baptist Church. The town previously had an agreement with the church dating back to 2015 to assist with parking lot maintenance in exchange for the town to be able to use the site for special event parking. However, in the last couple of years, with all the new redevelopment activity in the town, parking is still even more so at a premium. So a number of staff reached out to the church to see if they'd be interested in re-engaging that agreement, and that we would assist by helping them with the annual parking lot maintenance to crack seal, to reseal, and to restripe the surface. And in exchange for that, we would have ability to use that for, again, special events, for patrons visiting our downtown, but also, maybe even more importantly, for employees of the many downtown businesses that we have, because we don't have centralized parking in most cases. We want to preserve the on-street parking for patrons, so this would allow the employees to park there at the church. So upon council's approval, I will draft a letter and take that around to all of the downtown businesses to just formally let them know that their employees can continue or encourage them to use that space for employee parking. So I just want to pass along appreciation to the church for entertaining this idea, and it's for 3 years, and the cost share is based on an actual estimate to perform the maintenance of the crack seal, the reseal, and the restriping. And be happy to answer any questions you may have, and I'll be back on July 20th to formally ask that you support that agreement.
Great, great. Council, questions? Sounds good. Thank you, people, for working that out. That's very important to all of our downtown merchants.
And I would like to say that I've also reached out to Thrasher United Methodist Church, because we also use their parking lot, for example, for 4th of July. That parking lot was extremely crowded. So we've started to engage with that church leadership to create a similar relationship with them to assist in their maintenance as well.
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So I have 3 items requiring action this evening. The first of which is asking council to rescind the declaration of local emergency. It was dated March 16, 2020. This declaration was put into place for the COVID-19 pandemic. The governor recently announced that his statewide emergency declaration would end as of June 30th, and therefore council must take formal action to rescind our local emergency resolutions.
Okay.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Is there a second? Second. Motion by Council Member Stovall, second by Council Member Lyles. Susan, please call the roll. Well, first of all, any other questions, comments? Nope. Please call.
Glad to see it go.
Yeah,
amen. That's right.
All right, ready? Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes.
And Mr. Mayor, similarly, I'm asking council to rescind ordinance number 1016 so that it was adopted to enact certain emergency procedures to ensure the continuity of government during the COVID-19 pandemic. So similarly to rescinding the local emergency, this would rescind the ordinance, or actually by ordinance would rescind the 1016 ordinance. That's a mouthful.
It is.
We're doing away with all the emergency declarations.
We know where you're going.
Back to normal.
Back to normal.
All right, council, you heard the ordinance or the motion that we would have to have. Is there,
I'll make a motion to
okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor McCarty, second by Councilmember Mullins. Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes.
Okay, and the last, it's and the last item this evening is request town council take action to move our local elections for council members from May to November. This action is required due to the Virginia General Assembly enacting the 2021 Acts of Assembly, Chapter 103, during their special session earlier this year, which amended the Virginia's Code section, which requires that all municipal elections for cities, towns, and school boards be moved from May to November. This means the town's next council election will occur in November of '22.
Okay, thank you. Pete, it's my understanding that we really don't have much of a choice in this matter, right?
The only choice that they really provided to council was that we could move our election up by 6 months, or we could delay it by 6 months. And that was really the only choice we had in the matter.
Okay.
And we chose, informally, polled each council member, and the preference was to delay the election by 6 months.
Okay, thank you. Council, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I think none of us were big fans, but
No.
kind of out of our control.
Yes. You're very well put, Laura. Certainly not a fan of this, but what are you going to do? Got to obey the law, right? So.
Well, what if nobody makes a motion?
That means we don't have to get signatures. We just keep rolling over as council members. We don't have to run ever again.
Oh, my.
They're stuck.
We're stuck with this.
One of your town citizens could sue you to make adopt the ordinance.
They don't know that.
Yeah.
Funding they can withhold as well.
But we don't want that, so I'll make a motion
All right.
to consider the edit to
Thank
adopt the
you.
resolution.
Thank you, sir. Motion by Councilman Lyles.
I'll second.
Sorry. Second by Councilmember Mullins. Susan? Yes, Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes. Yes.
Mayor Gross, I just have a couple of updates this evening, conclude my section of the meeting. I just wanted to publicly acknowledge that staff has begun working kind of the next phase of planning for Mountain View reconstruction. We are working with an engineering consultant that will be performing some boring analysis of, not as in not exciting, but but to determine the extent and the depth of the reconstruction that we truly need for that project. So we've been meeting with VDOT, been meeting with town public works staff, and they will go out and actually do the borings to determine the extent of that repair and patchwork and make sure that we are on target with our funding requests. We are considering all the available options to expedite that project as quickly as possible. While ARPA funds are not a direct use for road and transportation projects, there is a possibility that we could, through some other means and freeing up some of our capital improvement, expedite that project a little sooner. However, the Virginia General Assembly will be meeting in summer session in August. They're going to be deliberating some additional COVID stimulus funds that may be allocated toward transportation. They could restore transportation funding back to the original levels that delayed this project initially from our revenue sharing application. And then there's some other discussions in the Congress and in the Senate currently about a third stimulus package that would be targeted more towards transportation and bridge infrastructure. So we're going to be ready when the funding is lined up. We'll be ready to go and have all of our ducks in a row. But I just wanted to publicly let everyone know that we are working on that project, and we do know that it's a priority. And we'll have a good plan in place when the money aligns, hopefully some potentially as quickly as this fall.
Is that like, remember us talking about this like last year, or, well, no, it's 2 years ago because we haven't been here a year. But like, and we had a price of what it was going to cost us for Mountain View. But how do we know that without doing this analysis that we're doing now? Like,
that was performed basically having some contractors come out on site and just doing a visual inspection of what parts of the road were breaking up. But it really didn't do the analysis of what conditions lay below the surface and what extent of that. Just because of the road surface maybe breaking up visually, it could have actually extended beyond that. So we're going to do a little bit more of a deeper dive to determine exactly what the extent of the project needs to be.
So the cost could go up?
The cost, in fact, could go up.
Okay.
But we'll know that fairly soon.
Gotcha.
Mr. Mayor, you know, naturally, living on Mountain View Road, I will tell you the other day, I think it was last Thursday, a gentleman pulled in my driveway, never met before. Nice guy, gets out and he says, "Don't fix it." I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Don't fix Mountain View Road." He said, "They fly on it as it is." He said, "If you fix it, they're gonna go even faster." But anyway, I've been on the record as saying that, as you know, until they moved the dates, and VDOT had offered us $550,000. We had $550,000 for a total of $1.1 million. And like I said, you know, living on Mountain View, I guess it got the biggest stake there. But I don't think, unless we can get some other means of money, I don't think it would be good. We'd be good stewards of taxpayers' dollars to let that 550 go away. They may come back in the General Assembly because they do have a surplus and say they're going to reinstate all these, and if they do, but you know, because if we take that, and I'll use 550, I know it's probably going to be higher, but if we take 550 out of a pot now and let that 550 go, that's 550 of the taxpayers' dollars in Benton that we could have used somewhere else. You know, Councilmember McCarty and I had a conversation, and not to speak for, but you know, I mean, naturally it does need work, but it has been fixed, you know, and you can drive on it. And so anyway, I want to go on the record not as one member saying that I don't think we should pass that money up. You know, maybe we lobby harder to get that date backed up or come back closer to us so we could spend that money, but I don't think we should give up that money myself.
I appreciate those comments, Mike, and I agree with you. I think it would be poor management on our part to kind of jump the gun, even though we would all love to fix it today.
Sure.
But we have to go about it properly and professionally. So good comment. Thank you, sir.
Speaking of paving, the milling activities of Hardy Road actually begun today. I know that caused probably some backups on Hardy, so it's a short-term you know, delay of some commuting time for a long-term gain. So the paving activities will actually take place at night. So the milling is taking place during the day. Hopefully we can change that time a little bit tomorrow so it doesn't impact some of the heavy rush hour traffic. But you know, that activity is going. That's a positive, but it is a little bit of a temporary setback for some of the visitors or commuters coming through town.
But it is a positive because
it is a positive. Yeah.
You cannot see lines when you're
Right, it will be
riding
worth
at night.
it. If they
yeah.
just hold on for a little till
Right.
it's done, it'll be
And
worth
if it's
it.
raining, it's extremely hard to see.
Well, it was the first day out, and I think the contractors learned a little bit about their setup, and we'll make some adjustments tomorrow. At least we have requested as such.
Yeah, yeah, 92 degrees today. Traffic and an hour earlier town council meeting is really rough to get here by 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I hear that.
Going the back way.
The last item, I mentioned at the last council meeting, but just want to remind our citizens that we are doing trash bag recycling. We have a box here at the municipal building, not trash bag, I'm sorry, grocery bag recycling. We have a box here at the municipal building and one at the community center as well. And that is a program sponsored by Daughters of American Revolution, where we are attempting to get some park benches donated through the recycling program.
Cool. Very good.
That concludes my report. Thank you, sir.
It's a neat project.
Very good, very good. So that was it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I don't see anything listed for reports from committees, so council, we will turn it over to you for your comments, and we will start with the vice mayor.
I just once again want to thank the staff, the volunteers. The town is hopping, and it has to projects that have gone on recently and events. It takes a lot to be able to plan that and to have it just take off the way it did, and the 4th of July was totally awesome. I wish I would have said something earlier. I didn't know Chastity was going to be leaving early, but hats off to her, because
Sure.
I've planned a few events, but nothing that big. So that was totally awesome, and we've set the stage now. So and people were visiting from all over. So definitely thank you for that. I want to also thank the mayor and Pete for the mayor's report. This is a thick report of what they talk about, but it's awesome. It has pictures, and I'm a visual person, and it is just totally awesome. So I greatly appreciate that. That's something to help keep us in the loop. So thank you. And thanks, Anita, for all of your work and your presentations tonight as well.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. Councilmember Lyles, I believe you're next.
Yeah, I would like just to think, say the same thing as Sabrina. Poor old Pete, that's all he gets to do for a whole week. That's to have a report. He just meet with the mayor and then work on a report the rest of the week.
I guess if you look at a report like that, somebody's doing a lot of talking in that.
I do a lot of listening.
Just the two of them.
Yeah, it is a good report.
Cody there. So,
I too think that well, number one, it's good to see everybody here in person again, and being able to interact. It was having to be quiet in the house, and you know, although it was nice to not have to put on ties and everything, but it is nice to be here with everybody and actually interact with everyone. You know, our 4th of July was just amazing. I've seen a lot of talk about, you know, how we compared to other localities in the valley and how we just blew it up, if you will, and extremely proud to be a part of this town and live here and get the attention that we got because of Chastity and the staff's hard work. I mean, it was amazing. I participated in it from a vendor standpoint, and with that being said, I noticed that the police department did not use that trailer that they have, and I was curious if I could use that maybe next year, because I could only stay about 2 hours before
I noticed the lines. You may need it. It was long lines.
And it was, you know, anybody, I think Chastity had some issues or some problems maybe getting some folks to participate this year, and they missed out because it was,
I bet she won't have that problem.
They'll be staying in their line.
it was a really amazing event, and I want to order the same weather and everything exactly the same that we did this year, and just invest in a lot more stuff to help me out. You know, you would never know that we are a 3 by 2 square mile town with the looks of those crowds that visited with us. So just, again, awesome to be a part of that.
Town was full, wasn't it?
It was.
Was that?
It was. And hopefully, and the town was beautiful. I mean, it was, you know, just looking down Washington Avenue, it was all, it enticed, I think it's going to entice a lot more people to keep coming back to our town.
Yeah, I agree.
And Debbie took excellent pictures.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Always.
good job. Good job. Great job. Yeah. It's a good night. Good night. Councilman Mullins, your turn.
Well, I think everybody said what I was going to say, so that's good. We'll make it short and sweet. I'm just glad to be back here too, and still admiring all the newness, because I mean, we haven't been here that much, so I'm still checking all the good stuff out, and I'm happy to be here, and even if I have to sit beside him, we're good. And I just want to thank the chief. You tell all the guys, including Officer Caldwell, and that story gave me chills when they were telling that, and it's just something you don't think about having to walk into, and I really appreciate them. That was good. That was very good.
Thank you.
It was a good story to get us back in Chambers and get us kicked off. So, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Certainly appreciate that. Councilmember Stovall.
Yes, sir. I first off want to take my hat off to you, Madam Clerk. Actually, the family at the back, I was talking to them when we first came in, and she said, "This is nice." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I think it's been, was it 14 months? How long was it?"
Probably.
Was it 14 months? But thank you for all that during all that time. You know, everything at our fingertips, naturally doing the finance by Zoom, and I know, you know, the other committees and all that, and all the staff that helped you with that. It was really a big help, I thought. You know, I think one person said it well in the Inn Vinton, and she said that she absolutely loves fireworks. Said she remembers, or she goes back to 1998.
Wow.
And she said that the other night in Vinton was the best fireworks she'd seen since 1998. And I had some people in from out of town, and of course they said the same thing, like, y'all do this every year? Yeah, ma'am, do it big every year. But yeah, it was, you know, it's just great events. I mean, it's just, but anyway, it was definitely a great event.
Yeah, it was. Thank you, sir, for that.
And I know Keith Lyles is glad he's no more than about 9 foot from me in person now. You don't have to look at me on a computer.
What a thrill. What a thrill. Well, kind of like Lori said, you folks have said it all, and you said it well. The 4th of July was a great event, a real slice of Americana right there. It was a small town doing a great job. I told Pete and Chastity that night, it seems as though everything this staff touches turned to gold. I mean, they've done a good job. Awesome report, Chief. Thank you so much for that. That made it worth coming out tonight. It really did. So I just appreciate everything that went on here tonight. And I'm like you folks. I am just so glad to be back in Chambers. This is great. So I won't belabor the thing about the 4th too much, except to say it was awesome, and it was altogether appropriate. I mean, you guys are probably more history buffs than I am. But as I mentioned that night in a few small remarks, of course, Thomas Jefferson talked about the 4th of July in his very last letter. That's how important it was to him. And John Adams, you know, he described how the 4th of July should be celebrated, and one of his descriptions was with fireworks, and it was, man, we did him right. He would have been proud, you know, that's for sure. So
they both died on the 4th of July.
Yeah, sure enough, that's what we understand. Both of them died on. So it was a good night to celebrate being an American, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay. Folks, we're going to need to go into a closed session, but before we do that, is there anything else to come before council tonight? Nope. All right. So as you can see on the agenda, we have a couple of items for a closed meeting, and so we need a request to convene in closed meeting pursuant to 2.2-3711 of the 1950 Code of Virginia, and we will only be discussing the items listed there on the agenda. Is that sufficient, sir? Okay.
I'll make the request.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a request by Councilmember Lyles, a second by Councilmember Stovall. Do we need to vote on the request or just on the
Voice, just voice.
voice vote? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right. Folks, thank you very much. We'll be back, but we won't be offended if you're not here. So. You can't see Pete. I remember that. You too.
Yeah, you too.
A lot of times I get up here like this, and if I'm talking to y'all, you
So it is small pictures.
That's good. Thank you.
all right. Well, we got a bunch of stuff.